Breaking: Ukraine whistleblower was just caught lying, and this report proves it. The Intelligence Community Inspector General, ICIG, admitted on Monday that they changed the policy regarding whistleblower complaints so that the anti-Trump whistleblower's second-hand complaint could be filed. A clear attempt to smear the president. It gets worse. The ICIG also admitted that the whistleblower originally lied, considering they explicitly said that they had first-hand knowledge of the complaint even though this was not true. Check out what the Federalist reported. The ICIG also disclosed for the first time that the anti-Trump complainant filed his complaint using the previously authorized form, the guidance for which explicitly stated the ICIG's previous requirement for first-hand evidence for credible complaints. The Federalist reported last week that it was not known which form, if any, the complainant used, as the complaint that was declassified and released to the public last week was written as a letter to the two chairmen of the Congressional Intelligence Committees. Under the law governing whistleblower complaints for members of the intelligence community, the Inspector General has near total authority to determine whether a complaint is credible or not. The law is silent on what type of evidence is required and leaves that decision entirely to the discretion of the Inspector General. As a result, the internal policies set by the ICIG's office are the regulatory rules governing the examination of whistleblower complaints. Because of this wide discretion granted under the law, the ICIG's internal changes to its own policies and guidance regarding first-hand evidence, which the ICIG admitted to in its press release on Monday, directly impacted its treatment of the anti-Trump complaint filed in August. The ICIG also admitted in a press release that they purposely changed their whistleblower complaint policy to allow the complaint from the second-hand anti-Trump whistleblower to go through. Check out what they said: in the process of reviewing and clarifying those forms, and in response to recent press inquiries regarding the instant whistleblower complaint, the ICIG understood that certain language in those forms and, more specifically, the informational materials accompanying the forms, could be read incorrectly as suggesting that whistleblowers must possess first-hand information in order to file an urgent concern complaint with the Congressional Intelligence Committees. This seems to be a direct attempt to smear the president, considering not only was the rules changed to allow the complaint, but the whistleblower originally lied, yet the ICIG did not seem to care. The more we find out, the more this seems to be a setup by the Democratic Party in an effort to remove President Trump from office. Fred Fleitz, a former CIA officer and National Security Agency Chief of Staff, also thinks something fishy is going on, saying that he thinks the whistleblower was helped by House Democrats in crafting his complaint. Fleitz recently suggested that the complaint is too well written and seems to go along very similar with the far-left, Democratic agenda. This document looks as if this leaker had outside help, possibly from congressional members or staff, he said. He later added that the complaint appears to be written by a law professor. Fleitz also explains that he feels troubled by the whole whistleblower situation. I am troubled by the complaint and wonder how an intelligence officer could file it over something a president said to a foreign leader. How could this be an intelligence matter? Fleitz wrote in an op-ed. It appears likely to me that this so-called whistleblower was pursuing a political agenda. The former CIA officer continues by saying that he is very familiar with transcripts of presidential phone calls since I edited and processed dozens of them when I worked for the NSC. I also know a lot about intelligence whistleblowers from my time with the CIA. From my experience, such an extremely polished whistleblowing complaint is unheard of. Fleitz continues by saying he thinks it's more than a coincidence that this complaint surfaced and was directed to the House Intelligence Committee just after Adam Schiff, D. California, an outspoken opponent of Trump, expressed numerous complaints in August 2019 accusing the president of abusing aid to Ukraine to hurt Joe Biden. Urgent poll: do you support Trump against Dem impeachment efforts? He adds that he finds it very ironic that the whistleblower's complaint is very similar to a tweet made by Representative Adam Schiff in late August which read, "House Republicans need to ask the whistleblower under oath whether he spoke to the press or Congress about his complaint." Fleitz thinks the entire Ukraine situation is a political plan made up by the Democratic Party. I refuse to believe that the leaking, Timing and presentation of this complaint is coincidence. I don't think the American people will buy this either. What are your thoughts? Let us know in the comments below.